For nearly 4 decades, Judge Greg Mathis represented something rare in American media. A man who survived the streets, defeated his past, and built a life around discipline, faith, and family. Millions watched him every day, not just for legal rulings, but for moral lessons. So when headlines surfaced in August 2024 announcing that his wife, Linda Mathis, had filed for divorce, disbelief spread fast. This wasn't just another celebrity split. This was a marriage that had survived poverty, crime, fame, controversy, and time. What could possibly break a bond that lasted almost 40 years? The answer wasn't simple, and it wasn't sudden. It was slow, quiet, and deeply human. Judge Greg Mathis, a life built on redemption. Greg Mathis' life story is one of America's most powerful redemption narratives. Born and raised in Detroit's Herman Gardens housing projects, Mathis grew up surrounded by violence, addiction, and poverty. As a teenager, he was involved in gangs, armed robberies, and drug dealing. By 17, he was arrested more than 20 times and sentenced to jail as an adult. For most people, that would have been the end. But Mathis received one final chance. A judge offered him a choice: earn his ged or remain locked up. That moment changed everything. He chose education. Greg earned his ged, attended Eastern Michigan University, went to law school, and fought repeatedly for the right to practice law despite his criminal record. Eventually, he became Michigan's youngest elected judge. His rise from inmate to judge made national headlines and turned him into a symbol of second chances. And throughout that transformation, one person stood beside him: Linda Mathis, the quiet foundation. Linda Mathis was never a public figure by choice. She met Greg during his early rebuilding years, before fame, before television, before money. They married in 1985, when Greg was still fighting for stability. Linda became the anchor of the family. She raised their 4 children, managed household finances, supported Greg through law school, elections, and eventually television fame. While Greg became a public voice for discipline and accountability, Linda handled the private work that made that success possible. Insiders have long said that Linda was not just a wife. She was a structure that held everything together. For decades, their marriage was presented as proof that transformation and stability were possible. A power couple in the public eye. As Judge Mathis became one of the longest-running courtroom shows in television history, Greg Mathis' public profile skyrocketed. Awards followed. Appearances multiplied. His schedule became relentless. To viewers, Greg Mathis looked everywhere: on screen, stages, interviews, ceremonies. But the more public his life became, the quieter his private life grew. Marriage doesn't usually break with explosions. It erodes when success becomes distance. As filming schedules intensified and business ventures expanded, time at home decreased. According to later statements, emotional connections slowly weakened. Conversations shortened. Presence faded. There was no dramatic collapse, just years of growing emotional absence. Linda remained supportive, but the loneliness deepened. Being married to a respected public figure often means sacrificing privacy. But over time, Linda felt she was sacrificing connection too. This emotional neglect became the core fracture long before any scandal surfaced. August 2024, the divorce that shocked everyone. In August 2024, Linda Mathis officially filed for divorce. The news hit hard. Nearly 40 years of marriage gone. Importantly, Linda initiated the filing. This wasn't a publicity stunt or legal strategy. It was a decision rooted in emotional exhaustion. Greg Mathis stayed mostly silent initially, allowing speculation to take over. And speculation came fast. As with any high-profile figure, rumors exploded. Online platforms pushed claims of a secret child and multiple affairs. Headlines blurred fact and fiction. Social media turned speculation into assumed truth. Greg Mathis publicly denied the existence of any secret child, and no evidence ever supported that claim. However, while some rumors were false, one difficult truth eventually emerged: the affair, a confirmed failure. Greg Mathis later admitted publicly that he had an affair. He did not deny it. He did not minimize it. He described it as an unplanned and serious mistake. Not a double life, but a betrayal nonetheless. Linda Mathis confirmed the affair herself. But what surprised many people was what came next. Linda made it clear that while the affair was painful, it was not the primary reason she filed for divorce. The real damage had been happening for years. Linda explained that emotional neglect was the deepest wound. Being married but feeling alone. Sharing a home but lacking connection. Watching success grow while intimacy disappeared. She emphasized that neglect slowly hollowed the marriage from the inside. This revelation reframed the entire story. It wasn't about scandal. It was about absence. 3 weeks of separation that changed everything. After the divorce filing, Greg and Linda separated. But something unexpected happened. Instead of escalating conflict, both entered therapy. The separation forced reflection, not performance. Greg later said the pain felt comparable to losing his mother, a moment that once changed his life completely. For the first time, he wasn't teaching lessons. He was learning one. By October 2025, Greg and Linda Mathis appeared together on the Tamron Hall show. There was no defensiveness, no excuses. Greg admitted his failures openly and issued a warning to men everywhere. Don't neglect your wife. Linda spoke about rediscovering her self-worth and learning to prioritize herself. Their reconciliation wasn't framed as perfection, but as responsibility. By December 2025, Greg and Linda confirmed they were back together. Not unchanged, not untouched, but honest. They returned to faith, therapy, and intentional connection, choosing healing over pride. Why this story matters. This wasn't just about a judge or a celebrity. It was about how emotional absence can destroy even the strongest foundations, how public success can quietly damage private bonds, and how accountability doesn't stop at the courtroom door. Judge Greg Mathis didn't lose his reputation. He challenged it. At the end of the day, this story is not really about fame, television, or headlines. It is about what happens when success grows faster than connection, when responsibility to the world slowly replaces responsibility at home, and when even a man known for teaching accountability has to face his own reflection. Judge Greg Mathis spent decades reminding others that actions have consequences. In this chapter of his life, he learned that emotional neglect carries consequences too, even in marriages built on love, sacrifice, and faith. What makes this story powerful is not the divorce filing. It is the honesty that followed, the willingness to admit failure, seek help, and choose growth over pride. Very few public figures are brave enough to do that. If the story made you pause, reflect, or see relationships differently, then its purpose has been fulfilled. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you believe long marriages can survive emotional distance? Or is accountability the only path to healing? Like this video if you value real stories told with truth. Subscribe to the channel for in-depth, fact-based documentaries you won't find anywhere else. And comment below, your perspective matters here. Because behind every public image, there is a private truth. And sometimes the most powerful verdict is the one we deliver to ourselves.